At that, the Bodhisattva, the great being Vajrayasena, bowed down with his palms together towards the Blessed One, and said to the Blessed One, Blessed One, what's the reason for smiling? What are the conditions? The Blessed One said, Child of the lineage, do you see these sentient beings, young sentient beings? He said, Blessed One, I see them. Sanghata, I see them. The Blessed One said, Vajrayasena, all of them will be established on the 10 grounds on the very day. Then the Bodhisattva, the great being Vajrayasena, remains in the sky above at a height of 80,000 yojanas and 80,000 million devas, release a rain of flowers on the Blessed One. The young sentient beings too make prostrations with palms joined. Then the Bodhisattva, the great being Vajrayasena, said this word while remaining in the sky above. He fills the galaxy of a billion world systems with sound. The sentient beings born in the 32 great hells hear the sound, the 32 types of devas hear the sound. The galaxy of a billion world system also trembled in 6 ways. In the great oceans, 84,000 nagas were also shaken. 30,000 million rakshas came to this planet. 25,000 million pretas, yakshas, and rakshas came from the royal city of Adkavati, and this huge assembly gathered before the Blessed One. Then the Blessed One taught Dharma to the young sentient beings, and 100 million bodhisattvas, 100,000 million bodhisattvas came from the world system of the 10 directions, each by their own supernatural power. At that, the Bodhisattva, the great being Vajrayasena, bowed down, placing his palms together towards the Blessed One, and said to the Blessed One, Blessed One, many are the bodhisattvas that have gathered and are here. Sanghata, there are many, Blessed One. Many too are the devas and nagas that have gathered and are here. From the royal city of Adkavati, many millions of rakshasas also arrived, assembled, and are here. Then the Blessed One said to the Bodhisattva, the great being Vajrayasena, Child of lineage, come down. And that the Bodhisattva, the great being Vajrayasena, descended from the space above by supernatural powers, placed his palms together and bowed down towards the Blessed One. He said to the Blessed One, Blessed One, the mass of Dharma that is spoken of, Blessed One, of what extent is that mass of Dharma? The Blessed One said, Child of lineage, it is called the mass of Dharma when one unequivocally strives for celibacy, and also one having unequivocally striven for celibacy, one abandons all wickedness. Child of lineage, do you see the young beings who, having abandoned impure conduct, will undoubtedly attain harmony and will also become endowed with all the dharmas? He said, Blessed One, but what mean are all these many sentient beings gathering and listening to the mass of Dharma? At that, the Blessed One said to the Bodhisattva, the great being Vajrayasena, most sentient beings do not hear that birth as such is suffering. They do not hear that aging as such is suffering. They do not hear that sickness as such is suffering. That sorrow is suffering, weeping is suffering, separation from loved ones and coming into contact with what is disagreeable is suffering. Death, after all, this suffering, steal away of bodies and life. Bodhisattva, these are what are called all sufferings. Then those young sentient beings have heard this teaching, bowed down with their palms together towards the Blessed One, and they said to the Blessed One, Blessed One, we too will die. The Blessed One said, You and all sentient beings will die. They said, Blessed One, how will our time of death bear down on us? The Blessed One said, Child of lineage, at the time of death, at the last moment of consciousness, There is a wind called causing cessation of consciousness, a wind called confusing of consciousness, and a wind called disturbing the consciousness. And children of the lineage, at the time of death, in the final moment of consciousness, their three winds will stir up. They will confuse and they will cause disturbance. They said, Blessed One, what are the three winds that destroy the body at the time of death, when the consciousness ceases? The Blessed One said, Friends, weapon, compelling and injuring cause the destruction of the body. They said, Blessed One, what sort of thing is this that is called the body? The Blessed One said, Friends, it is also called completely ablaze, burnt, mucus, belching, cremation ground, whirlwind, a heavy burden, tortured by birth, violently shaken by birth, tormenting one's life force, and causing death and separation from loved ones. Friends, there are what is called the body. They said, Blessed One, how does one die? How does one live on? The Blessed One said, Friends, what is called consciousness dies, long-lived ones, what is called merit lives on. Friends, what is called the body dies, bound with millions of sinews, endowed with 84,000 pores, connected with 12,000 parts, and supported by 360 bones. 84 types of parasites live inside the body, and there is death for all these living beings. There is death. What is cessation? When a person dies, all those living beings also have their hopes dashed. Then, because all the living beings eat one another, this moves and disturbs the wind. At that time, they will experience suffering. Some will grieve for their sons. Some will grieve for their daughters. Some will grieve for their companies. Some will all be pressed by agonizing pain. They will try to eat one another, and then, when they have eaten one another, two living beings are left, and those two fight for 7 days. After 7 days have passed, one living being is destroyed, the other is freed. Long-lived ones, if you should wonder what it is that is called karma, what do you think? Just as these living beings clashed with one another and then died, in the same way, childish ordinary individuals also clashed with one another. They are not frightened by birth. They are not frightened by aging. They are not frightened by sickness. They are not frightened by death. Just as two living beings fought, so too do childish ordinary individuals fight one another. Then at the time of death, virtuous people say to the person, In what are you trusting? Have you not seen even the slightest shortcomings? Have you not seen the shortcoming of birth? Have not seen the shortcoming of aging and sickness? Have not seen the shortcoming of death?